following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host.
The following takes place between 2 p.m.
And what we have happening today, well, I don't know. Apparently it can't be explained, but the market, at least the S&P, they have gone lower today. But I don't understand. This must be broken. What can you actually even say anything like that? It is one of these weird things to see in the market, but we're off 3 points in the S&P cash. Volume still not as exciting as we would like it to be, under 2 billion shares as we start the show. So continuing to be problematic. We pulled back, didn't have a lot of volume, pushed higher yesterday, then no follow through today. I have to say that one of the things that I find most interesting is looking at the data. That is that a lot of the last move from pretty much last fall tends to be a lot of big players on Wall Street leveraging up. Saw some data today that suggested that, along with the inflows from trim tabs that suggested that money was actually flowing out and into Europe, which is what we've talked about, or I thought would be the result of the win in France, which is if, of course, a lot of money came here. So what's hold this market up? Well, it's been held up since the French election by leverage. We've had fairly decent outflows in the ETFs, sizable. And, of course, we've seen the reaction to the dollar when we see that down to 98 today, which I thought was going to be just about impossible. Certainly would have been if the election would have gone the other way in France. But we started to see some stuff over the weekend. There were elections in Germany. Looks a little better for Merkel, even though she has the lowest approval record of even people like Stalin. I think she's got she's had 10 or 12 or 15% approval rating for the country, but they still vote for it. It's beyond me. But what else do we have? That's kind of it. We've got the dollar, down 0.8%, which is a huge move. And why was that? As far as anybody knows, the cash is headed to Europe, thinking that maybe it's not the big write-off everybody thought it was. And again, the thought here, well, if we just keep the market up, it's going to go higher. So we saw a lot of that cash come in over the last week or so. Not much real movement in the indexes other than the NASDAQ basically flowing in there. But in the S&P, what are we up? Before I got nervous, I think we were at 2388. We're at 2399. So what are we, 10, 12 points higher out here? It's just hard for me to get really excited about a market that has moved up on leverage, and its prime idea was that, of course, that as long the market would just continue going up. I got to sneeze. And I'm back. If anybody wants to know why I sneeze like this, I can refer you to a video. But it's actually a gene that everybody, that not everybody, but that people have found. And it does cause you, when you have sunlight in your face, to sneeze. And if you ever want to look at that, or if you know other people that sneeze. It affects about 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 people. But they've actually found the gene that does it. And basically, if you have a lot of sunlight, I've got some lights here, make me look good, or better anyway. I don't know if I look good, but I look better. And when you get a lot of sunlight in your face, it literally overwhelms the inputs and causes a sneeze. But there's a whole long scientific discussion if you want to. But 1 out of 4 or 5 people. And I have video at 6 months of where my brother would just sit there and open up the stroller and get sunlight on my face and start making me sneeze at 6 months old. But it happens. Anyway, we'll move on. As I said, I'm not real excited in the market. I think actually the market's as dangerous as it was in 2007 and 2008, mostly because of that leverage. Mostly you can look into the dark pools, and almost all the volume it's gone up from about 32% a few weeks ago very steadily as they push the market up higher. And of course, since we know that individuals can't buy dark pool shares, that's the big men of the street. So they've been slowly pushing this market up without many retail investors coming along. We've had a few, but it's been fairly light. And what have we had in the last couple of days? Lots of outflows and a bunch of people trying to push the Nasdaq just a bit higher. Well, time to get this party started with a little bit of history, and then we'll start talking more about some charts and looking at them.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is history repeating, and on this day in 1960, just a week or so ago, of course, in 1960, U-2 spy plane is shot down, and the Russian leader Nikita Khrushchev lashes out at the United States and President Eisenhower at the Paris summit. Between the two heads of state, Khrushchev's outburst angered Eisenhower and doomed any chances for successful talks or negotiations at the summit. And what we had going into the Cuban Missile Crisis was a great deal of the Soviets overplaying their hand. They had worked very hard to make us think that they had a lot of working missiles. And that was fairly far from the truth. Alluded to in one of the big books. I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was after the Hunt for Red October. It's called The Cardinal of the Kremlin, from the same author. But very thinly veiled account of how we had a spy in the very highest levels of the Kremlin. And he was letting us know that the Soviets were all bluster. They had a lot of rockets, but they thought, at least from our analysis, they thought that out of the hundreds they had, maybe 5 could actually launch. The rest would probably blow up as they tried. We'll talk more about this when we come back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Technomental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Anyway, then we'll start in the market. But it's just very interesting to me that in 1960, no one ever talked about actually what was going on behind the scenes, but we had a well-placed source at the highest levels of the Kremlin, and he let us know that the Russians were bluffing, and were bluffing for the next 2 years, and were bluffing into the missile crisis. They thought that at that time, less than maybe, even at the missile crisis, that maybe 10 of their missiles would actually fire and launch. They had a lot of problems with quality control since just about everybody in their country was drunk most of the time. No one liked it. And, of course, communism, socialism, all the same thing. Just destroy anybody's will to live. But, of course, eventually they woke up. And one of the weirdest things was that a single person in the Cuban Missile Crisis stood in the way of launching a nuclear-tipped torpedo at one of our aircraft carriers just off of Cuba. If it wouldn't have been for this single individual, 1962 probably could have ended up a lot differently. But very interesting. Not a lot happening out here in the news, actually financial news, but we will go through what's happening. Did have some earnings, so we probably need to go through those. We'll start off with Home Depot. It was trading up above 160 earlier. I think as high as 162 pre-market. The numbers were pretty good out here. At 8:30 then we got the housing starts, and in May they should be gangbusters. They were pretty muted, so it kind of came off those highs. Numbers are good in Home Depot, but you've got to really start looking at that. I would probably like just a little bit more volume. It's good. It's not fantastic. 7.3 million shares so far. That's compared to 5.9 million shares that we had just waiting for earnings last night. Let me see what else we had here. I had a few more on my list. On the downside, SSYS, we talked about how these stocks had just gone up to the resistance level. This thing kind of pulled back a little bit. Far too many shorts in it, though. And again, I just think you're getting the short covering back up to this resistance level. This goes back to the 23rd of November 2015 when this thing gapped down. And it did so on a lot of volume, if I'm remembering, about a little more than that. Let's zoom in and take a look. That's 4 million shares. You've got a gap at about a double gap at about 35. And of course, remember, this is a stock that was trading way up there. I remember shorting this thing off of 130 bucks. So you kind of have to watch this thing. Does it have capability to do well in the future? It does. I think there's still a few missing pieces in this 3D printing space before things go higher. Of course, 3D Systems, another one, same thing. It's right up to these levels where it's all these fairly decent gap downs. And again, the lows have never been tested, so it's kind of hard to buy these. You've actually even had a higher volume low test of June 27th last year, and didn't quite get down to that June 27th low, but that's still a possibility. I suspect that we are going to have one more chance to take a big swing at these things, but probably much more like Amazon, a business that went up to Amazon went up to 200 bucks and down to 10, and of course buying it at 10 was the real value in whatever it was, 2002. I think that's what it was. Workday had some fairly decent earnings. Wanted to see how this one, and we talked about this going up to its previous October 10th high. It's had some good movements again. You wanted to see some real volume into the last couple of days as it goes through the October 10th high of 1.5 million shares. Yesterday, you had that volume. It just kind of stayed there. Now today, only about 1 million shares. So still probably going to 100. But man, you got to watch this thing. If it gets up to 100 and there's no volume, probably could do a decent reversal. When we look at retail stocks, still they are in the dungeons. Even the best of breed like TJX opened significantly lower today. I think it was printing pre-market around 71. When the market opened, it wasn't quite that bad. You've got the 71.38 low from November 3rd, 2016. That had 2.6 million shares. We already have 11.5 million shares, so you only have about $1.20, $1.60 lower than today's low. It's a little bit back up here, but you have all the volume in the world. Other stinky retailers, DKS, which is Dick's Sporting Goods. You don't want to be in a mall, a strip mall, especially in a mall, a little less than a strip mall. But Dick's, again, these mall stores are just getting hammered as kids don't go to the malls anymore. Down on huge volume on this one. And next big low is at $37.64, which is the May 18th, 2016 low. You've got going on 18 million shares here. This is a 5 million share low back on May 18th. And the sign of strength when this thing started moving up off the low was 8.6 million shares on the 19th of May 2016. So you continue to have a lot of that. Yeah. Oh, boy. Well, somebody in the den said that the Russians would have nuked themselves. I mean, I don't think a lot of people know that the first man in space they took out and shot because he was mad that they killed his buddy by putting in him a rocket that had a 90% chance of failing. And finally, Gagarin, they took him out in the countryside and shot him and said a bus ran over him. Closed casket funeral, by the way. So no one could see. But, yeah, a lot of horrible things. Anyway, back into that 37.64 low of May 18th of 2016. No earnings news, but a little bit of help. ETSY, is that right? ETSY. Etsy, we talked about this one getting hammered on earnings last time. And what was that? Yeah, the 1st of March went down to $9.41. We've got some activists in this. Again, the problem is that Etsy, if you're not familiar with the website, is a kind of a Amazon for craft makers. But a great deal of these craft makers tend to be kind of the hippy-dippy kind of folks, not highly reliable. If they can make enough to pay the bills this month, that's what they want to do. And it's been incredibly hard to get this business to scale. Talking about costing out the CEO, getting some new people and blood in it. And again, a lot of people short some of these stocks. One of the reasons why I don't like shorting stocks down to under $30. But pretty huge move out here, 14.5 million shares so far. I don't know if there's a chance of actually doing any better at this. We'll be back.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And what do we have going on? Oh, we're looking at a few more. We're talking about Etsy, and of course, they make a lot of and sell a lot of custom crafts, and custom orders. Just very tough to get these folks moving on. When your worker staff decides to show up and sometimes not show up, new CEO, I don't know if we can really ever do anything about these folks. Some companies probably in this vein should never go public. I have to pat the Craigslist guy on the back that is a huge hippie. He wasn't about making money and wasn't going to go public, just take everybody's cash and basically tell them, well, we don't really care if we make money. He makes enough to get by, and that's all he really cares about. Yeah, I'm thinking that this company should have done the same. But who knows? Very tough business to be in when half or more of your workforce are fairly lazy. We talked about TJ Maxx. We had a big mover in Weibo this morning. Nice gap. Good sign of strength. And certainly back through the October 10th high, 55.93. Got retested again on the 21st of February. And you had about similar volume. You really kind of moved up the last few days with, some never really a sign of strength. You basically got it today. So it looks like if someone knew something in this company, they certainly knew it a week ago, and we're starting to move this thing up into earnings. WB is the symbol on that one if you're unfamiliar with it. Another big mover out here today is Cena. This thing's up a monster amount, as all in this sector are. And let me just get the full poop on this. Weibo is actually part of Cena, by the way. Cena, on the Cena business, our performance was in line with expectation. We have further restructured in our mobile media business to accelerate the pace of the mobile transition. So, what else can you say? What else do we have? A few other ones out here. Cena InVax is a mover. NVAX up about 6% earlier today. This thing's just bouncing off the lows. I don't know if there's a great deal to be said on this. It's a penny stock already. See if there's anything else out here. First Solar, FSLR. This thing, of course, coming off the bottoms. Making solar cells still kind of a loser business, i.e., it. In fact, I think, did we talk about it the other day? Maybe it was in the Tech Insider. Tesla, its solar rooftop tiles that cost $24 a square foot would take you 30 years to break even on. And who knows how much interest rates are. Now that they're low, probably not much. And if they go up a little bit, maybe it take you 100 years to break even. And most of the people think that these solar cells are not going to last any more than 10 years before they drop 50% in the power that they output. So normally when they give you the numbers, they make it act like these solar cells are going to be as efficient as they were the first day. They don't. They do wear out. They scuff. Less sun gets to them. Great idea. Great sentiment. Still probably not ready for prime time. Is that the right? Yeah. You had kind of a little bounce. You're just back into the February 24th, 3850 candle that had 11.8 million shares. What do we have yesterday? 2.5 million shares today, 1.1 million shares. Energy was a little bit better than you would think on this last move up, but a business that continues to be problematic. TSLA, we'll look at this company again. I have to think that if you are looking one on just based on chart pattern and not looking at anything else, Tesla has given a sell signal. The problem continues to be a 30% perennial short interest in this stock. It doesn't really look like this thing. It has gone down a little, but never enough. You got two gaps at 280 and 270. I think if the market would pull back, I think you'd see that 270 in a kind of a heartbeat. Let's take a look at some other stocks that might be interesting. AMBA, which is Umbrella, in the semi space, starting to get up and through the, let's get back here, shorter left, through kind of previous highs. Now, you wanted something in the neighborhood of about 4.2 million shares from the March 1st high from Umbrella. Of course, they make the chips that go in the GoPros and other cameras. Yesterday, we had 766,000 shares. Today, about 600,000 shares so far. But again, that March 1st high had 4.2 million shares. And maybe it's going to continue on a little bit more. That November 23rd high had 1.2 million shares at 65.78. But the juice out of this April 18th low continues to be weak. Just wondering when some of these, let's take a look at GoPro. Because it certainly looks to me like an incredibly crowded market. Again, GoPro, they started shorting that thing at $90 and paying a $20 premium to do it. That's paid off. I'm just wondering how long this stock can hang around. Maybe the downside would be that the CEO gets booted out by the board and this thing pops. And maybe they try to sell out what they've got and maybe get a little bit more. But you bought them at 714. You've kind of come back up here, but the last 4 days, you've just really gone sideways in it. So not much into that. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Ooh, I didn't know that. Thanks. Somebody in the den, John from Philadelphia, tells me the Solar City CEO, who was the cousin of Musk after the previous CEO had left, is the cousin of Musk, quit today, quit Tesla. I guess probably once you're a CEO, you don't have to think much about it, but he never impressed me very much. The whole Solar City thing is one of these things that, it's kind of like a guy talked to me about being in Vietnam and having hand grenades and walking through the bush, and just one of these trees just kind of pulled the pin on one. Probably not a good idea to have anything like that. And it's kind of like a hand grenade. And one day that thing is going to blow up inside Tesla. Just don't know when it's going to be. Anyway, GoPro sideways the last 4 days. I think you could look for a test of the 714 out here, but at any point I would not be short this time. We'll be back after the short timeout.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now, you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we are back. What do we have going on out here? We'll just check back in on the volume, see if anything has changed. 2.25 billion shares. So again, this is going to be a light volume day. We pushed higher, 24.0577 as the high. We're trading out at 23.9875, 23.9605. As I said yesterday, I'm fairly bearish, and shorting highs is not as easy as buying lows. You always like it. The big thing, though, is when you short a high, normally you get a lot of money in a very short amount of time. It's always one of those things where the entrances into the stock market are they got a lot of doors open. Those exit ones, though, they got a few blocked off. And especially when I start seeing the leverage numbers, I started seeing the last few days and the numbers out of trim tabs, I am about as bearish as I think I've been since I saw all those stocks top in May 5th of 2008, wasn't it? I think it was May 5th of 2008 when all the housing stocks were getting ready to implode. Not just because there's a single issue like that. It's just that there's so many stocks horribly overpriced. The volume's been poor on the way up, especially in the last 2, 3 months. We've got almost nobody that wants to short this market, which is also a big thing. Normally, when I've gone back in the last 20 years of data that I've been able to scrounge up on the amount of shorts and puts on indexes, that kind of stuff, normally it highs and you don't have any shorts. That's when one thing happens, and that is the market opens up. It gaps down significantly higher. I mean, gaps down significantly lower, but I mean, it's normally a fairly big gap down. And I can't say that the percentages are overwhelming, but they are high, that if we want confirmation of this market being fairly scary, that will be it, because that tends to make a lot of people think that the market will go back up and they'll sell into it. And then it's down 50 points, it's down 100 points, it's down 200 points on the S&P, and they never got their bounce. But from everything that I see, a lot of stocks that are moving well beyond any reasonable expectation of the next 5 years in earnings is problematic. Anyway, 23.98.5. Looks like we're going to go test the lows of the day. Again, higher high, not much volume, and options show significant downside potential for this week. I can't say that it will happen this week, only that I will, until proved wrong, be short and very short. Doesn't mean that it's going to fall apart, but my guess is that we will have a day, and you'll see it. We'll walk in, and we will see something like a 50-point down day in the S&P cash. What else is going on out here? Well, I wanted to see a few more stocks. Did we talk about Workday? Maybe we did. I've loved this company since it IPO'd. It's bounced around. I never got a good technical reason to buy this thing. Had a nice move yesterday with some volume, a little higher out here today. I'm hoping that a lot of these stocks that have kind of turned around lately, like Workday, will get back to lower prices where I can buy them. I've loved this company because they combine a few things. One, a cloud-based service for doing your books for small companies and even medium-sized companies. And, they basically ran the CEO and co-CEO or CFO used to run a company that was bought out by Oracle and really forced out by Oracle. It was called PeopleSoft, and it was a great company, ran perfectly, but Oracle still wanted them out of the way, and they green-mailed the board out the door. So these guys ended up being fairly rich and starting Workday, and just excellent. There's not a lot of people that I think are excellent CEOs, good at the idea of both the broad vision and execution. But these two guys were some of the best guys in the world, and kind of got kicked out. They've got something to prove. They've got a fairly good idea. I'd love for this thing to pull back, but if I was looking at a company that could be $1,000 in 10 years from now, I kind of look at Workday. It's got all the right features. This does not have the right setup at the moment. But a nice pullback. Again, I'm looking for a lot of these companies to have a lot of air pulled out of them. We are just way too high and way too much leverage in this market. A hog. What else is there? Yeah, PeopleSoft. Okay. Lower volume on Harley-Davidson as it broke through its previous low of January 31st with 6.75 million shares. That was $54.74. We broke through that really yesterday. Volume did increase to 3.2 million shares, but nowhere close to that January 31st low. Not much follow through out here today. Volume and energy did come in over this top. It had a very light volume piercing on March 16th. It's been down ever since, including earnings. About $50 is where this stock is headed for. Let's check back in with cons because I wanted to look at this one. This was one of these stocks that's kind of a combination of Aaron's Rents and Best Buy. We'll look at Best Buy after this one. But just everybody and their dog was short. And before markets turn, it's not uncommon to see a lot of these stocks run fairly strongly. This one from $8 all the way to $18. It's starting to pull back down. It's under the 3x3, and you've got a couple nice gaps. My guess is that things really haven't changed that much. You just had far too many people short this thing, and it's probably headed back to $9. We could get back down and test maybe that gap and or the March 14th low of this year on lighter volume as the markets pull back. There may be some really good buys out here. Let's take a look at Best Buy, BBY. What do we have out here? Still holding up fairly well. What I dislike about this thing is it hasn't really had significant sign of strength back to this March 1st, 2nd roll this year. It's gone up on very light volume, and this one could probably easily get back to $41 before the end of the summer. These tend to be, or Best Buy tends to be very cyclical, and it needs a few things. One, it needs new iPhones out the door. It's got a little bit of business out here with Samsung, but it makes a great deal of money off of iPhones. So next fall, new iPhone coming out. Is all that in it already? I think it could be. If we saw some fairly significant pullback, Best Buy at maybe 41, 42 bucks in September may be a great buy into the end of the year. We'll look at a few more. Give me a call, 877-927-6648. Email me at pat@tfnn.com or post a message in the den.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
A Rubik's Cube offers more than 100 million starting positions, resulting in 43 billion potential twists and turns. Yet, this puzzle can be solved in 20 moves. Knowing the right move makes all the difference in the world, and on Wednesday, May 17th at 5:30 p.m., I'll share with you the 5 essential patterns for timing the market so that you can make the right moves and become a better trader and investor. A few weeks back, I showed you how to spot a bear market with 2 moves that the market always makes, and on Wednesday, I'll unlock the 5 best moves for timing any market for any time frame. To gain access to this extraordinary 1-hour workshop, test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probability, for the next 30 days for free. Just visit the homepage at TFNN.com and click on the link, 5 Essential Patterns for Timing the Market, and you'll be able to attend live as well as review this workshop anytime during the next 30 days. I'm looking forward to helping you solve the puzzle of the markets, and I'll see you on Wednesday, May 17th. TFNN.com. We've got your back.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Oh, I'm back. I nodded off here for a little bit, watching the dulcet moves of the stock market. We're off 3.5 points on the S&P cash. This will not stand. The NASDAQ up 11 or 10 points. Again, volume came in kind of light yesterday. Every day I published the volume broken down by various markets and venues. But I'm going to say that we're probably... for just the straight NYSE consolidated volume, I think we came in at 3.5 billion shares. We probably needed to be somewhere around 5 billion to make a sign of strength. at these highs and make you think it was going to stick. But you never know. Maybe volume comes in, but so far it hasn't. We went higher today. Volume hasn't. And now that I find out that a lot of cash is coming out of the market, and most of the moves over the last few months have been based on leverage from big street names, I always have to worry about that. Let's go on to a few more. BZH, which is Beazer Homes. Wanted to see how this reacted to the news this morning. At 8:30, we had housing numbers, and kind of about what we're looking for, and that is that you should have some really huge numbers right now in May, because a lot of these houses get delivered sometime in the fall. A lot of people choose to build homes so that they move to a new school district. Pretty big driving factor. That they're light in May is always problematic. We've had a big run. Stocks go up and stocks go down. I'm not calling for the end of the world in the housing market, but I do think maybe we're kind of saturated. January 26, $14.82, 1.3 million shares. Yesterday we had 400,000 shares as we went into that high. Today, just 200,000 shares. And again, energy just a tad off of the March 22nd low. But everything I see, I keep on watching around the housing sector, makes me think that, man, we're fairly close to these rolling over and down. They may just be a little bit ahead of themselves. But if we get a few more numbers like we got this morning, I think you can say that there isn't a lot of growth in these companies left. Now, we've come off these highs back down to $11.18 on the higher interest rate story. Everybody's kind of discounted that. I think that higher interest rates on at least for the rest of this year. So I wouldn't get too excited that we're out of the woods yet. Oh, well, we're going to look at the XLE. I don't think we talked about that. Had higher prices earlier in the day on crude. It was up in the 49s. We're off 16 cents now. Of course, this thing kind of ran over the last couple of days and kind of spiked yesterday in the thought that somehow everybody was going to join hands in the Mideast and sing Kumbaya and not cheat on how much oil that they're producing. Even if they don't, the continued higher rig count is just something that seems to me has got to, until there's a crash in oil, I dislike this. I think a crash in oil could reset these folks that are just putting too much oil on the market. I don't see anything that changes that. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. So when you can, not when you have to.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.